It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Welcome to the Divas That Care Network. Today's show, The Wow of Women, features the remarkable journey of women whose powerful and extraordinary choices positively impact people's lives on a daily basis. I'm your host, Amy McKenzie, and I am so excited to introduce our guest today, Nakaya. And I really appreciate that you're taking the time out of what I know is a truly, truly busy schedule. And I just want to say, some of the things that you have shared, you're a mother, you're a speaker, you're an author, you're a certified life coach. You've accomplished so much in your life. Behavioral science with a BS. You got a master's in administration of human services. It's quite extraordinary, everything you've accomplished. Share with us a little bit before you became the extraordinary woman you are today. Not that you weren't always extraordinary, but, we all begin somewhere. Take us back a few steps and, share with us, if you would, the beginning days and then the turning point of how you got to where you are today.
Okay, yes. So I struggled with depression since I was 12 years old. I wasn't formally diagnosed with depression, but I knew that it was something there, but I just couldn't figure it out. I had friends, but I always felt alone. I felt, by myself a lot. So as I got a little older, I really recognized that, I'm depressed, because I didn't know what depression was at 12. So then, going through middle school, I was bullied. And then, when I got to high school, I had friends, but I still felt alone. So, I went to college. I graduated from high school, but I went to 7 different high schools, no fault of my own. My mom got in car accidents and things like that. She lost her job, so we were kind of moving around a lot. And I just felt, empty. I felt so empty. So then I finally was able to go to college. And in college, I suffered with depression more because I'm like, I didn't have a home to go home to. I didn't have family. My mom had up and rooted. She moved to Florida. And, I didn't have nobody home back in Delaware to go home to. So it was just a struggle for me, just trying to figure out where I was going to go on throughout the holidays and things like that. So as I got, trying to figure my life out and things, I had to stop school. I couldn't afford to go out of state anymore. So I spent 2 years away at college, and then, that was the only thing I knew was to go to school to do, I wanted to be an elementary teacher, but all the classes were online, so I didn't like online classes at the time. So once I figured out I couldn't go to school, I felt like my whole world just came crashing down on me. That's all I knew. I got in a semi-abusive relationship. I got depressed all over again. I thought about suicide. I was, job hopping, living check to check, just trying to figure out my life. And I just was like at my last moment where I just felt like just giving up. But then, it was in a moment where I thought about suicide, and it was like, no, Kaya, you can't end your life right now because you're destined for more. So once I realized that, I really started, putting my creativity work, like really started writing more poetry. Everything that I went through, I wrote it down. So I wrote my way out of depression. I wrote my way out of, those suicidal thoughts. I wrote my way out of feeling lonely or lost. So just by me writing poetry allowed me to heal, but I still had that self-doubt. I still had that, lack of self-love, that lack of self-confidence, that lack of self-esteem where I could actually begin to move forward in my life. So I was struggling so badly, just trying to find myself, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, trying to figure out all these elements. And it was so frustrating for me until, after I had my children, then I really sat down and was like, I really am job hopping. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's because of my situation. Maybe because I went to 7 different high schools. Maybe it's all this stuff is playing a part in why I'm feeling like this. So then one day I just sat on my couch and just bawled in tears, like just trying to figure it out. Like, I have to get to somewhere. I have to get somewhere. And I just can't figure it out. So then one day this principle came to me, like, wow, mastering the 4 E's of life. Like, I'm like, what is that? I don't know what that is. I didn't know what it was. It just came to me, like, so clear. And I was like, I got to evaluate my now. Like, I have to start somewhere. So I have to figure this out. I have to figure out what's stopping me. I have to figure out what's holding me back. I have to figure it out. I have to break down those barriers, those walls that are blocking me from moving forward in my life, and that is stopping me from being happy, that is stopping me from being, dissatisfied. I have to figure out what's stopping me from being satisfied. So once I figured out that, I had to evaluate all the things that I was going through, like literally put all my cards down on the table and figure it out. So after I evaluated all the stuff, the next process was me evolving, like me developing into myself, me developing into the person that I really wanted to become. So I really sat down and figured out, okay, this is all the jacked up stuff in my life. Now I have to polish up those things to make them better. I have to change my mindset. I have to do all these different things I want to be. So after I evolved, I had to empower myself. And I'm like, empower? I was like, okay, daily affirmations. I was a
What's
bad,
that?
negative self-talk. Like, I self-talk myself negatively. Like, it was bad. I was the queen of negative self-talk. I was like, I would look in the mirror, tell myself that I'm ugly. I would look in the mirror, like, I just told myself that I couldn't do it. I was no good. Like, I just talked really bad about myself. So once I really figured out that I had to change my mindset on the things that I said to myself and how I looked at life, especially like around money. I was always, I'm broke. I don't have this. I don't have that. I can't afford it. So once I really started saying, I don't have it right now, but when I get it, I'm going to, I'll invest in myself, or I'll do this. So I started shifting my mindset around that, and I'm telling you, it helped me become a better person. Like, I look at things out of a different lens now because of that. And once I empower myself, I embrace who I'm becoming. So I embrace my truth. I know that this stuff happened to me, but it didn't define me. It didn't define who I am. It didn't define my purpose. It didn't define where I'm going. So once I embraced my truth and I, came face to face with my fears and figured out, okay, this is not me. I have more in me than just me struggling, me paying bills, me living check to check. All those things. Then I aligned my values with my truth. So I found new values. I found new values in alignment with my truth so that I could find my passion and my purpose. And now I'm embracing who I am, embracing who I became, and embracing the queen that I was born to be.
Wow, that's so powerful. So for all of the listeners out there, I don't think there's any one of us that hasn't had that, monkey chatter, as I sometimes call it, self-defacing conversation with ourselves that is so disempowering. I think we're all victims of it, and it's, hard to believe, I think, when we're on that side of it, that just changing the way we speak to ourselves could actually make that big a difference. So one, we have to believe it. So in your, work with helping people, how do you address that with people? Because until you believe it, you're not going to start catching yourself doing it, right? Wouldn't you say that would come before you can even catch yourself? Is first you have to believe it makes a difference. How do you help people get to that realization?
So for me, I have a confidence formula that I follow. I actually take them through this three-step process because I'm like, you cannot have confidence if you don't come face-to-face with your fears. First, you have to come face-to-face with your fears. Come face-to-face with them and acknowledge that they're there, and then acknowledge that you want to make them better. You want to, you want to become fearless. So once you do that, you can start defining that courage within you. You can start becoming brave enough to say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to move to the next step. So after you become brave enough to do it, then you start taking those action steps. You start creating that action plan and putting action behind what you're saying. Confidence is showing that you you can do it, believing that you can do it,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you said you're going to do it, so now you're taking the action to actually do it, putting it to work. So those are the 3 steps that I take, the confidence formula that I use to help them really pinpoint exactly what is it that is holding them back. It could be fear. It could be depression. It could be, certain situations. It could be that they're scared of becoming a failure. They're scared of success. They're scared. It could be any of those things. But at the same time, you have to acknowledge them. You have to come face to face with them, regardless of what it is. But I say fear because fear is a big one that people struggle with. Their fear of moving forward because they're scared that people may reject them, or they're scared that they might become successful and they don't know how to handle it. So, just coming face to face with those issues, those barriers that will stop them from growth. Those are the things we work on, so that way they can build that confidence, then turbo boost their confidence in that self-awareness, because, you have doubt, you have fear, you blame yourself, you feel guilty because you could have did this but you didn't do it, or you feel guilty because you made that decision but that wasn't the right decision. So just being able to make decisions without feeling guilty or blaming yourself for it, or making a concrete decision without having that negative attachment to it.
Right, exactly. And so in your experience then, it's not enough to just say fear, even though generally all of those things boil down to fear. It really makes a difference when you actually, if you will, tag the exact specific thing that's holding you back. Because until you get a handle on that, you don't really move forward. Was that what I'm hearing? So first you're getting them present to what's stopping them. Is that right?
Yeah. So first you're going, like me, I tell them, first you have to forgive yourself. I had a hard time forgiving myself, and it was holding me back from so much. Like I told myself, I probably could have been further in life if I hadn't limited myself, if I hadn't, been hard on myself and not forgiven. But at the same time, I say, you know what, I went through that for a reason. So once you forgive yourself and tell yourself that it's okay to be mad, it's okay, but I forgive me, I forgive them, and I forgive me, but I forgive them for me so that I can grow. So once I have them really sit down and say, okay, you have to forgive yourself first. No matter what mistakes you made, no matter what process you're at, because personal development is a process. You're steady growing and growing on your life. You're adding things to your life. You're taking things out of your life. So you're constantly adding and taking away those things that don't benefit you. So once you come face to face with you forgiving yourself, then you come face to face with the things now that you have took all that cloudiness out of your mind, you took all that cloudiness out of your vision. Now you're able to move forward and say, okay, now that I have forgiven myself, forgiven other people for anything that they have done to me, or even forgive the things that have stopped you from moving forward. You forgive all that, and then it's like, okay, now I'm scared. I'm fearful that I'm gonna be successful. Like now, you're coming face to face with those fears. So now you become bold enough to say, okay, I have dropped all those things that have stopped me. Now I'm sitting here trying to figure out, so what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of fear? So come face to face with it. And then if you have to think about it, what are you afraid of? And you can't think about it, then at the end of the day, then you have to stop running. You have to stop making those excuses. You have to stop limiting yourself. So then that's when you gain the courage. You build that courage within yourself to say, okay, I'm done limiting myself. I'm done running. I'm done making excuses for myself. I'm done. Now it's time for me to move forward and take the action. It's time for me to create that action plan and put my best foot forward so that I can create the life that I'm desiring and deserving. I want to live my life to the fullest without no regret, no hesitation, and live it with ease and with purpose.
Right, exactly. And so that makes sense that if you're not specific, then the sort of the corrected self-talk, if you will, won't be specific enough to actually move you forward. You've got to actually address the very thing. And it may shift as you go along, it sounds like, right?
Yes,
so that
you have to
it sounds like
exactly what it is.
Exactly. That makes perfect sense. And it's interesting when we're working within our mind. It's always trickier if you can see things out in front of you. It's obvious. If you're going to choose ice cream, you have to pick one. You have to pick something.
Right.
To be specific, right? But when we're working inside of our mind, it's not clear like that. So what you're providing, in a sense, helps. What I'm hearing, people have an opportunity to compartmentalize, in a sense, which I think may be partly why you've been so successful with people, because that then causes you to have a bit more, I'm wanting to say tunnel vision, in a sense, or targeted vision might be better. It's not like it's exclusive to other things, but targeting that thing that you're focusing on until you nail it, and you can move on to the next one. The way you have it set up here with, first dealing with the confidence and forgiving yourself, and then moving on to courage, and then empowerment. It's like you've really got them kind of segmented into chapters of personal discovery and advancement that allows you to naturally move to the next step. And what I love is that it came out of how it happened for you, what the process you had to go through. You have figured out how to duplicate as kind of a roadmap for others to follow. That's really something. Just want to acknowledge you for that. That is really, really impressive.
And then I take them through, I use focus, force your own mind to concentrate on unusual shifting. So that's how we really pinpoint the mindset. We focus on unusual things. I'm thinking about going on a vacation, but it's unusual for me to think about that because I always knew that I couldn't afford it. So I'm thinking about that unusual situation where I'm taking a risk. I'm now thinking about a budget. I'm thinking about all these different things that I don't usually think about. So once we start shifting our mindset to focus on, looking in a different lens, then you can start looking at living your life through your dreams, which you define exactly what you want in life, and then you resolve any unanswered issues, anything that has stopped you. You actually resolve those, and then you evolve into who you're becoming, and then you take that action. You use that action plan and start acting now. And then your mindset, you have to focus on your mindset change. So now you're doing your positive affirmations and things like that. And then the S is stepping into who you're becoming. So once you figure out all this, once you conquered your confidence, then you're living your life through your dreams.
All right, let me ask you a question. I have discovered through interviewing people over the years that sometimes people really don't know. They've been so busy in survival mode, and we've all had our moments. It's not to single anyone out. It's just that when we get entrenched in some way, shape, or form, I think we kind of lose touch with those maybe earlier dreams that we had, and we've banished them to the back burner and lost touch with what we want. What do you do when you have someone who doesn't know what that is yet? They're not clear what lights them up anymore. How would you heal or handle that with someone?
So for people who don't know exactly what they want in life, who don't know their purpose, who just, at a standstill where they're stuck, they have a blindfold on their eyes or anything like that, we start from the bottom. It might be a series of questions that I have to ask them just to get some information from them. What are you interested in? Say you turn on the TV and it's something on TV that just grabs your attention. Oh, my gosh, I want that. What is something that makes you want to buy it, or maybe something that you're interested in that when you turn on the TV? So we start small. It might be something you look outside. Okay, the grass is so pretty. Okay, so you might like nature. So, okay, what about the grass exactly do you like? Why did it catch your attention? So, me just asking a series of questions might help them really open up their mind and start focusing on certain things because they haven't looked at it like that, or they haven't really thought about it. Sometimes it takes for you to ask questions or, just to give them a series of different things to help open that doorway, that pathway, that opportunity for them to think about it. And then once they really think about it, then we can actually really start pinpointing exactly how we're going to get there or what interests they have that can shape them into their passion and purpose.
And I love your explanation because it really kind of underscores the acronym that you created called DREAMS, and I'll just share that with our listeners. Define, which is that's that step of defining what it is, and I wouldn't have thought to even consider that as a tool, but certainly it's a great idea. What are you attracted to? That's a great place to start. Whatever medium it is that you utilize, what makes you go, oh, I want that? Because that's a great place to start. And then you move into R for dreams, to resolve. You have to resolve whatever stands between you and thinking you can't have that. And you have to evolve to do that, which is perfect. And then you have to act on that. And that's going to require a mindset change that sets you into becoming who you are. So I love your acronym, DREAMS. Define, resolve, evolve, act, mindset change, and set into becoming who you are. And you really do follow that system as evidenced by my simple question. The first thing you did was go right to step one, which is define. Define what you want. And it's very powerful. So now let's move over here to what's next for you, because you have so much to offer. And I know that nothing is stopping you because you obviously have done this process so successfully that you were able to recreate it for others. And I know that you've got some things going on now. Talk to us about what's happening next. Maybe you could share from broken to breakthrough, for instance.
Okay, so I do have my 7-day Level Up Your Confidence Challenge, which is a challenge that will help, you just turbo boost your confidence and self-awareness and just, different tasks that I will have people do just so that they can feel comfortable within themselves, comfortable in their own skin, comfortable, just by taking that next step. So from there, I've created this online series. It's a series of dynamic queens that I have interviewed that talks about their journey of, where they were and how they became the person that they are today by conquering their confidence and creating the life that they desire and deserve. So I have my online series. It's called From Broken to Breakthrough, How to Create the Life That You Desire and Deserve with Confidence. You can create the life you desire and deserve, but do you have the confidence to live up to the life that you desire and deserve? Do you have the confidence to help you get through those situations that you're in, or help you get out of those situations so that you can become the best version of yourself? So this series is just an online series where I am interviewing, asking a series of questions to these women, but we just have a dialogue, conversation, and they are doing most of the talking. But it's just so powerful because I have so many women that I've interviewed, and I've grown just by interviewing these women because I'm like, wow, I had a felt, and it's so powerful and so it's just so powerful that I would like you all to register if you would. I think it's going to be on Facebook this time because I had to retweak some things, so I'll be doing my promotion and stuff this week and everything. So you can go on my Facebook page, Nakaya Tate, and then just look out for it on my Instagram, Intake Consulting LLC _ and just keep an eye out for it and watch for the sign up because it should be up there within a week or so.
All right, so just for everyone who's interested, that's Nakaya Tate, NAKIYA TATE, and you can look her up on Facebook. And the series, is I think going to be really terrific. It's called From Broken to Breakthrough, How to Create the Life You Desire and Deserve with Confidence, and that's going to run July 15th through the 22nd. No question that hearing stories of what people have overcome can inspire us, particularly when we relate to the challenge that person dealt with specifically. But even in general, just hearing a story of someone who has turned around their life because they said so, for nothing else. In the whole story you shared in the beginning, it's really because you said, what? This is not okay, and I'm going to change this. And that sheer determination has created this incredible avenue for people to take and walk and have a companion with them, to walk with them as they build that confidence. I think that's terrific. And in the midst of all of this, you've also managed to be a mother. How the heck do you keep your balance with everything? What's your secret?
Well, right now, me, I work a full-time overnight job, and then, I have 5 kids. I have 2 of my own, and then I'm raising my niece and my 2 nephews. One of my nieces and 2 of my nephews. So, I have children, but I balance it, just trying to get on a schedule. We have a schedule, Monday through Sunday. Everybody takes turns doing their chores, just trying to balance everything out just so it can, level out. So once I've figured out, okay, everybody's personality, everybody's this. So once I figured out all that, I said, okay, well, you like to do this, you like to do that. Okay, you get on the tablet for 30 minutes, you watch TV for 30 minutes, you play the game for 20 minutes. So I started doing it like that, and it creates balance. It just creates so much balance because all of the personalities, everybody needs my attention, wants my attention. So I just, we do family meetings, we do family game night, we do family things. So that way they will still feel included. Even when I was doing the online series, sometimes they will be loud where I hear them in the background. I'm like, oh, my gosh, I don't even want to listen to the video because I know. But at the end of the day, they're going to be kids. You just have to find balance.
That's right. Well, that's terrific. And I love that you actually used your own acronym, D for define, to figure out how to create that balance. So, you're walking your talk. We are almost out of time. I can't believe how fast it went. Any parting wisdom you would like to leave with us? You still there?
Oh, yeah.
Any parting words for our guests before we go?
Yes. I just want to say, people who struggle with self-love, self-esteem, confidence, just becoming aware of who you are and who you're becoming. This online series is something that you would want to be a part of because we touch base on all of it. How can you have self-confidence if you don't have self-esteem or self-love or know your self-worth or just that self-awareness? So just, being able to define those areas will help you level up your life and level out your life and ensure that you are creating the life that you desire and deserve. And if you don't know where to start there. Start at that online series and work your way to somewhere. Just get the guidance that you might need from it. And then just, engage in the lives that we will be doing in the Facebook group. And just engage and ask questions. If you don't know something, ask questions. Reach out to somebody. Reach out to those who are here to help you thrive in life, help you become the best version of yourself, help you become the person that you are designed to be, and building your confidence on top of it and defining your passions and your purpose.
Perfect. Well, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. Nakia Tate, everyone, check her out on Facebook. I want to thank our listeners for making this possible, our producer, the founders of Divas That Care Network, Candace Gish. She says that diva really means a courageous, self-assured woman. Go to Nakia Tate and she'll help you achieve it. We invite everyone to join us on divasthatcare.com, hear more inspiring stories, and we hope you'll add your voice to the conversation. That's all for now. Take care, everyone. Until next time, have a great night.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.